Hi, everyone. My name is Mu'taz Rashad. I'm the founder and CEO of DeepView. Today, I will demo our VuGraph supply chain knowledge graph platform. So basically, VuGraph is a large and growing knowledge graph platform that captures the shocks as they happen by taking a vast number of external signals, and we're always looking for new data sources and always chasing the graph and looking for secondary and tertiary signals. So it's basically per vertical. So you can see automotive here, US total vehicle sales in the US. You can see grocery sales in the US, home sales, new home sales, existing home sales, and China steel production. I'm going to run just two of these. Let's start with vehicle sales. And essentially, we're looking for which signals impact the forecast for vehicle sales in the US. And you can see here a lot of the industrial commodities, all of them are here, right? So copper, natural gas, propane, aluminum, platinum, steel, lumber, and obviously gasoline and so forth. And by the way, I'm just showing you what they are. I'm actually not going to select. By not selecting a subset, it takes all of them. And you can see under the macroeconomics, a whole bunch of them: CPI, PPI, US exports, unemployment rate, car production, new home sales is in there as well, because it's a very important signal, GDP growth, right? And financials, stock market, 10-year T-bond, natural gas stocks, and so forth. And then from the global trade, current account to GDP for the major economies. There is macro in terms of currencies as well for the key countries that impact vehicles like South Korea and Japan and China and so forth. And also the euro as well and the sterling. So, okay, so now it came back with a bubble chart first showing the correlations. Unemployment rate is very high correlation, obviously, car registration, Japanese currency. But here is the most important chart. This is basically the predictive power, i.e. the feature weight of each one of these signals. And we're just showing the top dozen or so, but there's actually 100 of these that are over 0.01%. And we can actually send you that CSV if you are a subscriber to VuGraph. But you can see here that new home sales is in the top three. And basically, when people buy a new house, they typically buy a new car as well. You can see Canadian currency and the EU, the euro, because obviously the German cars that sell here, and Canada is a major tier one automotive suppliers in Canada, like Magna is in the top three. And then, of course, you have crude oil, and you have aluminum and steel and copper and interest rates and so forth. From a statistical Pearson correlation, here is the most positively correlated. New home sales is way up there as well. And then most negatively correlated unemployment rate is the most negative. So all this makes sense. And then you can actually visualize the time series against each other. For example, if you wanted to take a signal like unemployment rate, which peaked at 14.8% in that Q2 of 2020, and of course the car sales tanked that month in May 2020, right? But then things started reversing into 2021, and you can play around with these in the dashboard. If we go back to the first step and run, for example, existing home sales, which is very important in the renovation and home improvement market, for example, where we're active. So you can see, again, I won't select, all the commodities are still here and so forth. I'm just going to click next, next, next. And let's look at the predictive weights now, right? So you can see the National Association Housing, the market index is way up there. But of course, the strength of the US economy, right? So the US exports, softwood lumber is way up there, right? So a lot of the homes in the US are not steel and concrete. The majority is actually lumber. And then you can have unemployment rate is way up there. Copper is in there as well. Plywood is there. So why is USD versus the Indian rupee in there? Because India is actually the number 2 in the steel industry behind China, right? So that makes sense. The construction workers wages is also in there as well. So so basically you take these feature weights, you realize, oh, I didn't add these, 4 or 5 important ones, and you would add them to your own homegrown model, or you can ask us for a custom model. That was VuGraph. As I said, it is open for self-serve SaaS product, and you can register to try it out and then subscribe. Thank you. To the next demo.